At the beginning of this year, I decided to travel somewhere far away alone. I had considered this idea numerous times, but each time I gave up immediately. My parents would not permit me to do so. I remember when I was in high school, I asked my mom to sleep at my friend's home for one night because the next day my class would take a yearbook. We have known each other since kindergarten, and her home was about 100 meters from mine. But my mom said no without a clear explanation. My mom always thought the outer world was full of dangerous things and always tried to keep me by her side. It was her way to protect me, and it's when I was under 18. I thought I would have more rights to decide things related to me when I reached 18. And when I reached 18, my mom still said, "You're still so young." So I thought everything would change when I was 20. But after 2 years of waiting to reach 20, I gradually accepted the opinion that I was too young to do anything without guidance, permission, and monitoring from other people. Whenever I had an idea that might be strange to my mom's normal thoughts, I gave up in the very first place. Gradually, I lost my ability to stand on my own 2 feet. But last year, when I was 20, there was a turning point that changed my mindset. A slap that awakened my weakened, dependent girl. It forced me to do everything on my own. In 2023, I had a to-do list of things I wanted to do alone. Traveling was one of things that I had not achieved yet. So I decided to do that at the beginning of 2024, when I was still 20. I finally made up my mind and decided to go, regardless of my parents' permission. I wouldn't inform them but not ask for an allowance. I thought the idea of traveling far away was shocking enough, and traveling away alone was something my parents never thought of. Therefore, I prepared to explain to my parents so they would feel more secure that I would always be safe. Seeing my mom was just so surprising, but less than I imagined, and didn't prevent me from doing so. I was unbelievable. She just asked me to protect myself. For a long time, I blamed my mom's overprotection for my weakness, dependence, worry about taking new chances, and having less experience than my peers. But finally, I learned that it's all because of me. I am the only one who imprisoned myself by my thoughts. And this video is about my very first times, the first time freeing my thoughts, the first time traveling far away alone, the first time I learned to book a train seat, a hotel room, the first time renting a motorbike and really using it, the first time going to Chuyến. So many first times, so let's go! After sitting on the train for a while, I saw a woman entering my cabin. We quickly feel close to each other. I think it's a natural trait of people from the South Central to the south of Vietnam. They are so friendly, truthful, and communicative. This woman came from Tây Nguyên. There was a problem with her passport, so she couldn't travel home by airplane with her colleagues. She seemed depressed and cried a lot. I tried my best to please her, but I'm not good at it. So most of the time, I just kept silent and listened to her. She even asked me to add Zalo and invited me to visit her home. She said if someday I want to travel to Tây Nguyên, call her and she would guide me there. I think the way she said so many things about her family, career, and so on to a stranger is not a good way to protect herself. But I really appreciate her open and friendly attitude and really appreciate that the one that entering the cabin that day was her. They was the first person I met on the trip. I met the next one in Hui while waiting for my bún bò Hui. The woman and the man were sitting next to me. They actively introduced me a lot about how the foods were cooked, although I had to ask them to repeat again and again because I was not familiar with her accent. They feel free to do so. The woman even cleaned the chopsticks and spoon for me. They were so nice and talkative. I wish I had that ability of talking to anyone like them. The last woman was the one I rent her motorbike. At first, it cost me 260,000 dong to rent for 2 days and a half. In the last day in Hui, I gave the motorbike back and transferred money to her. And she said, "You can transfer 250,000. She decreased 10,000 dong for me without being asked." All of them are really nice. Appreciate that I meet these people along the way. Before going to Hui, I checked the weather forecast and it said it would rain 90 to 100% for the days I chose to stay there. But I had no other choice. It was just a short break between the 2 semesters in a school year. After traveling, I had to come back to school immediately. Actually, I could book the earlier days, but the train tickets would be too expensive, about twice as expensive. So I was ready to run the motorbike around Hui under a raincoat. I thought watching Hui in rain would not be so bad. But I was so lucky. It had no rain when I stayed there. The weather conditions were perfect. The sky was sunny, clear blue, the wind was cool and pleasing. Everything was so stunning and calming that I thought I was a character in a Ghibli film. The next wonderful thing was Hui food. I could not say everything was to my taste, like this chè bột lọc heo quay. The water and crust of the cake were sweet, but the filling was stir-fried meat. In my hometown, food has to be sweet or savory, not mixed. But all the foods I tried were so delicious. I could rate them 10 out of 10. I also love her royal architecture. Everything was colorful and overwhelming. And because it was my first solo trip, I think one important question was, did I feel lonely sometimes? And the answer was definitely not. The only moment that I wanted someone sitting next to me was when I had to eat all the dishes. They were all over my stomach. I wished someone would eat with me so that I did not have to ask the seller for a lion to bring the rest to my rental room. There's no moment that I feel I need someone because I felt lonely or could not do anything myself. Actually, I was a little scared in the evening, so that I did not go out from 7 p.m. So I didn't enjoy Hui in the night and was a little worried when I had to sleep alone in a big string room. But overall, it was not a big problem. Hui was so wonderful in many aspects, and I want to come back there so many times in the future. There were lots of places I had not visited and foods I had not tried. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there was a turning point that changed my mindset. It forced me to do so many things alone, including making that trip. To be honest, I hate to confess so, but it was because of a toxic relationship. I was sad, crying, or feeling abandoned almost every week during that relationship. So lucky that it was short and so lucky that it happened. Thanks to it, I learned so many big lessons. The biggest one is that I am the only person who goes along with me most. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, from now until I die. All the people, even the closest and beloved ones, will leave me someday. My parents will be old, my brother will have his own little family, my children, if I have someday, will have their wives or husband. My today boyfriend will be my ex tomorrow. Maybe it's not a negative thought, just a friendly reminder that I should not outsource all of my happiness from the outside. I should enjoy the time with myself first, so that I can be truly happy when I am with other people. The happiness from them should be the added part, not fulfilling my missing ones. If I could not love the time with myself, I could not ask anybody to feel so, right?